Water slide transfers are usually included in plastic model kits to allow modelers to add stencils and insignia to their models that otherwise might be too difficult to replicate by hand and paint on. Surprisingly though, this particular aspect of our beloved hobby has raised a certain amount of controversy. And it's not to do with the varying quality from different manufacturers or even in their application methods to the model. No, it's in the pronunciation of a single word. Hey guys, I'm Matt and this is Model Minutes, and today I'm going to be finding out the answer to the question. Is it decals or decals? So join me in this video as I take a deep dive into this controversial subject and find out if there is actually a correct way that we should be saying this word. If you've been watching my videos for a while now, you'll know that I say it a specific way, and that is decals. Now, although a lot of people watching my videos either don't particularly care or say it the same way, there have been a few, well, a lot, of people over the years who've told me that I'm saying it wrong, and it's actually decals.
Stop calling them decals. You don't decorate your home, wait for a delivery from Amazon, or get depressed, do you? Of course not. So stop calling them decals, they're pronounced decals.
Decal? I think not. It's pronounced decal.
Okay then, I feel like I need to give a little bit of context as to why I say the word the way that I do. When I started modelling back in the late 90s, early 2000s, YouTube wasn't really a thing and the internet wasn't accessible for me at home. My main entry into the modelling hobby was through the purchasing of kits themselves, or by buying magazines. As a result, I only ever saw the word written down, and in my head the pronunciation of decal made sense. I mean, I had no other reference, right? No one told me it was anything different, and it was rare that I'd be able to discuss my modelling hobby with other people, and frankly, I don't remember that ever coming up. So fast forward 20 years and I now have a YouTube channel, and suddenly this word I've been saying almost all my life is wrong. Well, let's look at the arguments. Which pronunciation is correct? Is it perhaps a variance by country, just like how in the UK, you know those floaty things in the water, we call them buoys, but in America they call them buoys? Is it that sort of deal? Well, some people seem to think so. They think that decals is a British way of saying it and decals is an American way of saying it. But I'm British. I'm from the UK and always have been, so that can't be right, can it? Now, if I'm saying it wrong, then fair enough. I'll find out what the answer is, I'll put up my hands and I'll admit my mistakes. But let's see if we can unravel the truth. More often than not in the comments of my videos, people will try and justify the pronunciation of the word based on similarities to other words that begin DEC. So let's take a look at some. If I use the pronunciation of decal and then compare it to other words which start with deca, because that just seemed to make most sense to me, there are quite a few. So, for example, let's take a look at 10. Decasyllable, decahedron, decathlon, decadence, decameter, decapods, decalog, decagram, decade, decadal. Okay, so we've done that, fair enough. But are there 10 that we could match that start deca? Decaffeinate, decaying, decanted, decamp, decalcify, decapitate, decarbonize, decayed, decanter, and decarburize. And those are all actual words. I found them online on various dictionaries. So it seems that both sides are fairly evenly matched at this point. So from those two lists, it wouldn't seem that the argument for deca or deca would have a particular basis based on those two lists, as there's no real difference there, is there? Or maybe there is. So the first list that we looked at there, deca, where does that bit, the first bit, dec, come from? Well, it comes from the Latin for 10. So do all those words have something to do with the number 10? And by looking through them, it would seem that they do have something to do with the number 10. The second list, however, the deca sounding, has something to do with the prefix de, meaning to remove or reverse something. I think we're going to have to dive a little deeper and find out what the root of the word is. What does it really mean and where did it come from? The definition of decal or decal today is a design prepared on special paper for durable transfer onto another surface. Well, that makes sense because in our hobby, that's exactly what we use them for. but it doesn't explain how we should be saying the word. If we go a little deeper, it turns out that the word decal, or decal, comes from the French word décalcomanie, which means to tread on or to press, which, makes sense. So you see that E with the flick or the acute accent on the top. That means it should be pronounced more like an A sound, décalcomanie. I know my French isn't fantastic, but that's what it said online. So by using that logic, and we apply it liberally to the argument at hand, have we got a definitive answer to how we should be saying this word? Well, we're all wrong. It's not decal, it's not decal, it's decal. Isn't that amazing? A topic as controversial as this, where many people are so quick to argue until they're blue in the face, simply over the pronunciation of a 5-letter word. And it turns out that both sides are completely and utterly wrong. But if we're both equally wrong, are we both equally right? In this world of pandemics, political unrest, global warming, do we not have something better to do than argue over how we say a word? Perhaps now, with a little clarity, we can move on with our lives and accept the fact that people say words differently, possibly because it was the way they were taught, the way that they learnt it, or the way they understood it. And that's okay, right? What difference does it make if you say decal, decal, decal? As long as we, as a group of modelers, know what we're talking about. Let's put our differences behind us and move forward, not looking at what divides us, but what unites us. To me, that's creativity and the love of a hobby which allows freedom of expression. Personally, it's my choice, and I'm going to keep saying the word decal the way that I want to. And I certainly won't try and convince you that you're wrong, even if you don't agree with me, because that's your choice too. And with that in mind, I don't think there's a problem in being proud in the way that you say it. And we could all have a laugh over how silly we've all been. So if you'd like to publicly display which side of the fence that you're on, then feel free to get some of my merch. Shameless plug, I made these t-shirts with the different pronunciations on. So if you're on Team Decal or Team Decal, there's a shirt for you. I probably should make one for Team Decal now I think about it. Anyway, I think it's time to wrap this one up. Believe me, I've spent way too long thinking about this topic. And hopefully, this might put this matter to bed once and for all. Shout out to my patrons and channel members. Massive thanks to these guys on screen, and if you'd like to join them, take a look at the links in the description. Alternatively, you can support my channel for free by subscribing with notifications on so that you never miss a modelling video. I'm on social media too, you can connect with me in the links in the description. Thanks to my voice artists as well, they're both YouTubers, and I'll link their channels in the description as well if you'd like to check them out. Finally, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.
Decals? Decals? Eh, whatever, it's still decal.